Correct, yes.
Now, there are other people who I believe deserve to be punished even more than a nose picker, even more than Big Beth and the Bacon BLT surprise swamp-ass lady at the office.
Yeah, Beth with the BLT salad minus the L and the T.
Minus the L and the T, that's right. And so Jeff, is stupid. And like I said, I don't know. I'm thinking of just some of the dumb things that people have done when they were fucked up. Like we had a friend, actually, coincidentally, the same friend, who got a tattoo of a man on his tummy. Didn't he also sit in a Cadillac with no pants on?
He did, and we have... Well, he seems to take his pants off a lot when he drinks.
He does take his pants off a lot.
For some obscure reason, he wants his pants off, and he just came to a party. He had some 99 bananas.
Whew.
And then after 99 bananas, at some point he got into a Cadillac, and he wasn't going to drive it. He just wanted to go in, and he went in, and he took his pants off.
And I remember we left the club that night, and we get into the car, and it's me, you, him, and our other friend, and he's got no pants on. And we say to ourselves, God, this guy can't handle his shit.
Right, correct.
And I thought of all the people we know, I thought he's probably the one who can't handle his shit most of all. But, I mean, do you agree, or do you think, is that wrong? Am I wrong on that?
No, you're not wrong on it at all. And I think that's why he switched. He kind of walked away from libations. Yep. And went into other things that could keep him in a distorted state on a constant basis, because the booze just wasn't his friend. No, and as now, I mean, he's a great customer service representative who's high as shit all day. Yeah, morning to night, and he's known around the southern parts of Canada. So. Oh, he is. He's a Windsor wizard. Yes. And I thought there's nobody as dumb as him when it comes to getting fucked up. And I read, and this is what I don't understand. Let me ask you this question before I get into this. Do you think that this particular person, say we give him 99 bananas again, is he the kind of guy that would say something like, "Oh man, I'm going to change my name to Miley Cyrus"? Yes. He is, isn't he? Yes, totally. I agree. Yeah, 110%. Because his mind, you have to understand that his brain stopped growing in the pop music era of like late 90s, early 2000s. So I think, right. Like when Backstreet Boys, Mandy Moore, Britney, Christina, during that entire time, the band Five. I think maybe the latest that his brain was, like I said, the latest his brain goes maybe is Ching-a-Ling. Yeah, he's, Ashley Parker Angel. Right. Yeah, during that whole time. That was him, and it stopped. Something happened at that point where he just loved Juicy Pop, and his brain just halted. It did. And, I guess maybe that is what happened to this gentleman, because the second I read this story about this guy, I said, this is just like our friend. And this guy, I guess, legally, correct? Am I correct? Legally changed his name? Legally changed his name. Like on his license, like on his driver's license, it says Celine Dion. Celine Dion, yes it does. Okay, so his name, like when he goes to fill out a W-2 or somebody writes him a check, his name is Celine Dion. Yes, and could you imagine, look, I don't hate this too much. This isn't an awful name. No, I don't think it's bad. I'm glad you said that. I mean, tell me one bad thing about Celine Dion. I have one bad thing about Celine Dion. I have one. That's it. She's talented. She's beautiful. She's wealthy. She's got a lot going for her. But there's one thing that I will always hold against her. What's that? She married a man with a girl's name. You leave Renee out of it. I fucking hate Renee. No, not God rest anything. What kind of person marries a man with a woman's name? Seriously. Huh? They're Canadian. So? What the hell does that mean? Renee was a lovely man. He was a producer, a talent manager. He was a singer.
Okay, so you mean to tell me you can't man the fuck up and change your name?
Oh, Renee. He walks in the room. Everybody, it's a Renee.
No, exactly. And, maybe because there's a Renee in my life, so I know that it's supposed to be a female name. But look, I loved Celine. I loved the Titanic song. My mom was big on Celine back in the 90s when we would go down the shore before CD players were in cars. She carried our boombox. It took 10 double D batteries or whatever the hell they are. And we would listen to Celine Dion on the way down. And it was great. But I have to be honest with you. Ever since I found out that her husband, seriously, was named Renee, a lot of respect, gone. I'll be honest, just gone.
Was it because he was 20 years older? Because he was an older man?
No, actually,
with it, that you looked at Celine, and everybody's mom had the Celine CD, and everybody's mom was always playing Celine, and then you look at this Renee and you go, this guy, what does she want with this guy? Celine could have anybody.
No, you know what? No, as a matter of fact, I actually liked it. I said, man, this guy's a pimp. He's a pimp. Hot, young, super famous, best of the best. Married her in the early 90s when she was at the top of the pop charts. When she was literally top of the pops, he was on top of Celine.
Oh, yeah. He was mounting.
For sure. And, he was a Canadian, so, he knows how to mount.
He was a mountie.
He knows how to mount. He was a mountie. Correct.
Right.
But here's where when I think of this man changing his name, I go, Celine Dion, I like the name. I think it's smart. I think it's witty. However, for her name for me, and I think for a lot of men, is forever tarnished because of her marrying Renee Angelilli. Born in Quebec, January of 1942, he was a singer. He named his son Rene Jr. So he was such a prick that instead of letting his name die with him, he knocks up Celine, puts a bun in the oven, and names that piece of bread Renee.
Do you know that Celine lost her virginity to Renee?
Oh, I don't believe that. Are you kidding me?
She lost her virginity at 20 to Renee.
To Renee?
To Renee. And Renee was so big, they're from Canada, Renee was so big that he made her refer to him as the Moose.
Where are you hearing that? That is first off, no man named Renee is packing like that. Second off,
that's why he says, call me a woman's name. I'm the Moose.
Listen, he was in a pop group called the Baronets in the 60s. Okay, that was like a Canadian pop group. There is no way that this man was packing anything more than a 5. No way.
And she said to him, you'll be the first and the only. Yep. Your jealousy. And this is what, that's why he has himself named Renee. That's why it's his name. Because there's guys like you, okay, who will go, oh, what a woman's name. And in his head, he knows I'm the Moose.
So where did you hear that he was so big that she called him the Moose? And by the way, if that is true, which I doubt, you're telling me she lost her virginity to an absolute horse?
Yes, a moose.
Do moose even have, big,
Well,
Are they big?
I haven't done a lot of, investigating on meese genitalia, but I would assume yes.
Well, hold on. Well, I'm going to look that up. And by the way, for example, she had twins with this guy as well, aside from his other son, Rene Jr., Eddie and Nelson. What's wrong with that? Why couldn't he just give his other kid? Why couldn't he change his name to, Ren? Even Ren. Ren is better. He should have shortened Rene to Ren if he really wanted to be that lazy.
Would you like me to read the story? I have it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would.
Would you like to hear how Celine Dion lost her virginity?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, actually, okay. I would.
And these are quotes from her. So I want you to be in the room.
Okay.
You're sitting there like a creeper, just peeking through the window.
Okay.
So this is what Celine Dion said. Okay.
Okay.
He went back to my room with me. I was scared at the head of the bed, legs folded under the covers. I was happy about being alone with the man I loved, and I had a very precise plan. I took his head in my hands, and I kissed him on the lips. I put my arms around his neck. He held me tight, the door still open behind him. Then he removed my arms. He fled to his room. I stayed there for a moment all alone, my heart beating, trembling, and dumbfounded. I knew that I'd won. The flight was an admission of it. I grabbed the telephone and called his room to tell him, if you don't come back here immediately, I'm going to knock on your door. But there was no answer. It was he who called me several minutes later from the lobby of the hotel to ask if I was all right. And then he told me, if you really want to, I'll be the first. And I answered him, you'll be the first and the only Moose.
Moose?
Moose. And that's how Celine Dion lost her virginity.
In a hotel at the age of 20, he's on the phone in the fucking lobby saying, I will give you this moose dick if you want it. And she said, I want it, Moose.
If you get nothing from this podcast, just know that you got the story of how Celine Dion lost her virginity.
And her husband Renee's cock was gargantuan.
There you go.
All right. Good podcast, everybody. Unemployment choo-choo.